What would you do if the perfect job presented itself, but it came at a price tag of your time and family?
It's breakfast time. See you in a bit. Hello, peeps. On my way to my first day of work. It's going to be an amazing day. Carlos has an interview. It's going to be a great day.
I have an interview. Yes.
It's going to be an amazing day. I know it is.
And I've been studying for this interview too. I'm like,
Did they say about like the STAR method and?
no, I hadn't said anything much. I'm sure. I mean, I asked like they asked like it was on a one of those stupid automated.
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you through this process type thing. So I asked them like, what's a question? They were like, what's a question? They were like, what's 3 questions you have? And the only one I had was like, is there gonna be training involved? Like, and but I guess he's gonna answer that when I talk to him or whatever. But he confirmed with me twice, so that's a good thing, I guess.
That's a good thing, yeah.
And then so like I said, I've been studying. It's with a restaurant. It's with a well-known restaurant here in the South.
Yeah. It's gonna be an amazing day.
So when I dropped off Lexi this morning, got back to the house and realized that the tire got a flat. One of the tires on my son-in-law's car, which I was using, which is that one right there. You can't see it, it's on the other side, but it got a flat. So we had to, which I felt bad because, like I don't have no money to replace the tire. Like I put the donut on for him, and the tire was, it's in a spot where it can be repaired, but what was in it makes it unrepairable. Like it was a piece of metal. It wasn't even like a nail or something. It was a whole piece of metal in the tire. So like the hole is too big to be patched. I mean, the tire wasn't, it needed to be replaced anyway, but not at this moment, right this moment. So it kind of sucked, and I felt bad because I had the money to replace it. So, but I followed my son-in-law to Discount Tire where we're at, and to get him a tire. So that sucks, but. So for the last couple of days, Lexi and I have been telling you I had an interview, and it didn't work out. Like, I got the same cliche of, why don't you go back to the auto business, and we can't pay you what you're used to being paid and stuff like that. Even though like I applied to your ad, which meant that I was interested in doing what I applied to do, but whatever. It is what it is. I just came across a job that, since I've been getting told, why don't I go back to the auto industry? And partly because I'm not interested in running a shop and or running a district or anything like that. I don't want to do that. Like that's not what I want to do. But I do love the coaching aspect. I do love, the teaching the leaders who are running the shop, hey, this is how to get better. This is how to increase sales and your customer count and customer satisfaction scores and stuff like those kind of things. Like the coaching aspect is what I really love because at heart, that's what I do. I'm a coach. So I just came across a job that was perfect. It had they had two minor red flags on it. I had one minor red flag and one major red flag, but it was an automotive uh, plane, helicopter. So it was an automotive uh, leadership coaching position, right? And it was remote, and which was great. Like they're looking for somebody to come in to these various dealerships and shops and help come up with plans and look at analytics and find out where they can improve and stuff like that or whatever. Which is what I did for the majority of my time. Well, that's what I did as a district manager. My job was to make sure, hey, this is where you're at, this is where we can improve, and let's try this, and then implement things, come up with things and strategies to, make things better. So it was great. I was like, bet, this is it. Two red flags. One is that it's contract work, which is not meaning that I'll be self-employed, which is not a total deal breaker because in the end, that's what I'm trying to go towards anyway, right? Like that's the goal, to be self-employed, right? So that's not too bad. I learned that, there's things that come with it, like you have to pay a 15% self-employed tax, as if we're not taxed enough. And on top of like your normal federal and state taxes, because we pay state taxes here in North Carolina. But the biggest red flag was it required traveling up to 15 to 17 days out of the month. So that means that I won't be home for more than 2 weeks at a time. And I don't know how Lexi's gonna deal with that. I don't know how Lexi's feel about that. Now the price, for the price that the range that they were telling me at the top range, I was like, I'm like, well, for that much money, I'll just ask Lexi to, quit her job and come with me because there was enough money for, to that I'd be making enough money for the both of us. So that was perfect. But then when you add in all the taxes and stuff that are going to be coming out that you have to pay, because if you're self-employed, that means they don't pay. Contract work doesn't give you no benefits and stuff like that. So you have to pay your taxes, right? The self-employed tax, federal, your normal federal taxes, and then I have to source out healthcare. So the maximum range, when you take all that out, doesn't really constitute her, it's not really, it's not enough. I mean, it's still good money. It's still six figures, but it's not enough to say, hey, maybe, give up your job and come with me. So I sent it to her and told her, I shared the link to the job, and I told her, I was like, we need to talk, and well, we'll see how it goes. So there is the car we picked up. We dropped it off. Well, my son-in-law dropped it off. He didn't want to wait. And there's the car. They got the tire. This is the passenger rear. Well, he replaced the two passenger rears. So he's got brand new tires on them. So I'm just making sure, he gets in his car and stuff like that, and got the keys and everything's good before I take off on him. You good to go? He forgot his wallet. You sure? Okay. You told me to go, so I'm gonna go. But yeah, but I'm on my way from here. This is just down the road from where Lexi works, which I think we did on I think he did on purpose because he needed me to ride with him, to drop him off and pick him, and pick him up and stuff like that. But it's a little far. There was one a little closer. No, don't worry, dude. I wasn't coming. So, but anyway, so there's an accident on the road, and I think it was a hit and run because it's right in front of where Lexi works, and I think it was a hit and run because there was only one car there, and it was in the middle of the road, and it was pretty fucked up. So, I don't know, but anyway, we're gonna see what Lexi had a chance to look over that look over the ad and see. Like I said, I applied to it because I wanted to, throw my name in there. Like, I could always decline it. So, but I wanted to apply before the job ad itself, they closed it or whatever. So I wanted to make sure I threw my hat in. But, I mean, I'm not stressing about it because, I mean, it's not like I have the job yet. They haven't called me and made an offer. It's not, not like I got interviewed or anything like that, but I want to be prepared, so if they do call or whatever, then I can, if she's not game, like if she's not comfortable with it, which I totally understand, I mean, it's like you're you're in a marriage and then relationship and you're gonna be gone 2 weeks out the year, out the month, every month, like that's a lot, so I know we need the money, but at the same time, it's like, my marriage and my relationship, my family comes first, so there's a Jersey Mike's across the street. Now, I don't have no money for a Jersey Mike. I don't got money for anything, but I'm trying to stay away from processed food and stuff like that because I'm trying to consciously tell I need to get healthy and eat better and stuff like that. But at the same time, like sandwiches are my favorite food. Like I love me a ham and cheese, lettuce and tomato. Like if you're from New York, if any of you from New York, then a hero from the bodega. Like that's where I grew up eating them. Like I love, and Jersey Mike's comes close. Like they're not. It's not it's not all the way there, but it comes close. It comes way closer than Subway.
Good morning, sunshines.
Good morning. She's been up a little earlier than I have. A lot longer.
It's not a sunshine right now.
um, but look, so I didn't get to. We got into a conversation when I picked her up, and then, when she gets off work, I don't like to just be like, here, start vlogging. So we didn't get to talk about this last night. But so I applied for this job. Tell me, like, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you? Not that they've called me yet or anything, but in case they do, like, what are your thoughts about it? Like, how do you feel about
It definitely was a lot to think about. The fact that you would be away for weeks at a time. Um, but I think it'll be a good experience for you, and I wouldn't want you to pass it up. So I would venture to say right now, I would say, go for it. I mean, what's the worst? You try it, and if you don't like it, or if we're having trouble, adjusting to it, then you would have to, look for something else. But I think that it would be foolish to not take the opportunity to do what you love to do, which is, to coach and help others. So,
Like my initial thought was, like I said, for the amount of money that they were offering, I was like, oh well, that's enough money for both of us. I was like, I'll just ask you to come with me. But then when I broke down, like when I had Brett break down like taxes and everything, and I was like, what was left over after taxes, I was like, well, that's not enough to justify giving up a job.
for both of us to,
Yeah, so I was like,
yeah. Like I said, I mean, I think, it's definitely something to think about when you think about, being away for weeks at a time, and, but I think that, I mean, personally, I think that, we've been through a lot together, and I don't think it will affect our relationship, our marriage in any way. And I think that we're both at a place in our lives where if we felt like it was going there, we both know, okay, whatever it is we're doing, we need to stop. Like, we need to pause, like, this is not going to work. I don't think either of us will let it